Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to be back in Dayland Pinecrest area where I was telling my table. I spent my high school years and my teen years as well getting into trouble while I went to Palmetto and to Gulliver. Not too much trouble because I have no permanent records. Just kidding. Really quickly about the biography. My family didn't move to Miami in 1974. They were actually on vacation in Spain in 1973 in December, and I was born early. I was a surprise. I just wanted to see what Madrid was like. So I came out early and spent a couple months there in an incubator, and then as soon as I was ready to travel back home, I came back home and where I was supposed to be born, here in Miami. But it's a good story to tell. People ask, where were you born? To say you were born in Madrid, Spain. I want to talk a little bit about this past legislative session, a little bit about the legislature, and a little bit about my career in the legislature, which is coming to an end. Everybody here is familiar with how the legislative process works, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I did a teacher for a day last week, and the class had no idea what the legislature was. So it's good to not have to explain that. One of my frustrations about being in the legislature for the last 8 years is the lack of attention that what we do up there gets back home. I don't know if it's because we're so far away from Tallahassee. I don't know if it's because the periodicals have competing stories to write about, but a big frustration is not seeing the accomplishments that we accomplish in Tallahassee reported on, unless it's something sensational. A lot of the things that we do don't get reported on, and a lot of things that we do, or we did up there, were very important. In this last legislative session and the year before, we were confronted with a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit. And the Speaker and his leadership team, we all agreed that we were going to balance the state's budget as far as the House was concerned, without raising taxes. We were going to make do with what the citizens of the state were sending to Tallahassee for the services and that they needed provided through the state. So we were successful in that regard. For the last 2 years, we did balance the state budget without raising taxes and or fees. It was not easy. Making those types of decisions never are, but we were proud in our accomplishments in doing so. And as serving as majority leader, I kind of wore two hats. It was my responsibility to make sure that the agenda was accomplished in the House, while I also served as the chairman of the legislative delegation for Miami-Dade County for the last 2 years. So it was also my responsibility to ensure that Dade County's priorities were met and accomplished as well. So it was tough to balance those responsibilities. Luckily, the Speaker made it very easy for me and never put me in a position to have to choose between my responsibilities as leader and my responsibilities as chairman of the delegation. I'm proud to say that the delegation's priorities, for the most part, were accomplished. Miami-Dade County Public Schools had a pretty aggressive agenda that they brought us these past 2 years, and we were able to fulfill that agenda. Some of the things that we accomplished for the school system, give them more flexibility in their bonding capacity with their capital improvement bonds, giving them 10 more years of bonding capacity so that they can, since they've had a shortfall of funds lately, they're going to have more funds at their disposal to keep up with their maintenance projects and, if necessary, build some more classrooms. The Dade County Public Schools saw an increase in their budget this year because we added $1 billion to the education budget this past legislative session. I'm just going to get my